In a quiet suburban neighborhood, a stray black cat started appearing on doorsteps. Its golden eyes glowed unnaturally bright, and wherever it lingered, trouble followed. People whispered that the cat wasn't ordinary, it was cursed. One night, Sophie, a curious teenager, found the cat sitting on her porch. Despite its eerie presence, she felt drawn to it. Ignoring the warnings she'd heard, she brought it inside and fed it. As the cat ate, it stared at her with its unblinking eyes, as if it were reading her soul. Strange things began happening in Sophie's house. Mirrors cracked without reason. Whispers echoed in empty rooms. And shadows seemed to move on their own. At night, Sophie often woke up to find the cat perched on her chest, its glowing eyes inches from her face. She would shoo it away, but it always returned. One evening, Sophie decided to get rid of the cat. She drove it far away, into the woods, and left it there. But when she returned home, the cat was waiting on her bed, its fur matted with mud, and its golden eyes burning brighter than ever. Terrified, Sophie turned to the internet to research cursed cats. She learned of an ancient legend, a cat that seeks vengeance on anyone who wrongs it. She realized too late that by abandoning the cat, she had sealed her fate. That night, Sophie woke up to the sound of scratching. The cat stood at the foot of her bed, but it wasn't alone. Shadowy figures with golden eyes surrounded her, their whispers growing louder. The last thing Sophie saw before everything went dark was the cat leaping at her, its claws gleaming in the dim light. The next morning, Sophie was gone. Her house was empty, except for the black cat sitting in the window, waiting for its next victim. Three friends, Jake, Emily, and Ben, went on a hiking trip in the dense forests of Colorado. They had heard rumors of an abandoned cabin deep in the woods, said to be haunted. Dismissing the tales as local folklore, they decided to find it. After hours of hiking, they stumbled upon the cabin. It was old and decrepit, with ivy crawling up its wooden walls and broken windows. The air around it felt heavier, colder. Jake pushed open the creaking door, and they stepped inside. The interior was covered in dust and cobwebs, but what caught their attention was a large painting hanging over the fireplace. It depicted a family of four, all staring straight ahead with unsettlingly lifelike eyes. As Emily moved closer, she swore the eyes followed her. They decided to spend the night in the cabin, despite the eerie atmosphere. As darkness fell, strange things began to happen. Faint footsteps echoed upstairs. Even though the second floor had collapsed long ago. The painting seemed to change, the family's expressions growing more sinister. Around midnight, Emily woke up to find Ben standing by the fireplace, staring at the painting. His face was blank, his eyes unblinking. "Ben," she whispered. He didn't respond. Suddenly, the cabin door slammed shut. Jake woke up, and the two of them tried to pull Ben away, but he wouldn't budge. The family in the painting now appeared to be smiling cruelly, their eyes glowing faintly in the dark. Without warning, Ben turned to them, his face twisted in a horrific grin. "They want us to stay," he said in a voice that wasn't his own. Terrified, Emily and Jake ran out of the cabin, leaving Ben behind. They didn't stop until they reached their car. When they tried to return with help the next day, the cabin was gone. There was no trace of it, or Ben. Years later, Emily found an old photograph of the forest online. In the background was the same cabin, and in its window, she saw Ben, staring out with glowing eyes, trapped forever with the family in the painting. It was the summer of 2009 when a strange carnival arrived on the outskirts of a small town. Unlike any other carnival, it appeared overnight, with no announcements or signs of setup. The vibrant tents and glowing lights were an irresistible lure to the townsfolk. But there was something eerie about it. The air seemed heavier near the grounds, and whispers of unease spread among the older residents. Jack, a curious teenager, had always been a thrill seeker. When he heard about the carnival, he convinced his two best friends, Mia and Ben, to join him. "What's life without a little mystery?" he said, brushing off the stories of disappearances and strange occurrences associated with the carnival. As the trio entered the carnival, they were greeted by performers with painted faces that seemed a little too lifelike. A man with a crooked smile handed them tickets and whispered, "Enjoy the night. Once you enter, the carnival decides when you leave." Inside, the attractions were mesmerizing: a carousel with horses that seemed alive, a mirror maze with reflections that didn't always match their movements, and a Ferris wheel that creaked as if holding secrets. The strangest was the House of Illusions, where visitors claimed to see their deepest fears come to life. Jack was the first to enter the House of Illusions, followed by Mia and Ben. The moment they stepped inside, the temperature dropped, and an unnatural silence enveloped them. Each room showed them scenes that felt too personal. Jack saw his childhood home engulfed in flames, a memory he had tried to bury. Mia faced a dark figure that resembled her late father, and Ben found himself surrounded by shadows that whispered his secrets. Panicked, they tried to leave, but every door they opened led them deeper into the carnival. The vibrant tents now appeared faded, the performers' painted faces twisted into grotesque smiles. The carnival seemed alive, its pathways shifting like a maze, trapping them further. As the night wore on, the trio stumbled upon a small stage. On it was a dusty box labeled "The Final Act." Desperate, Jack opened it, revealing a note: "To leave, one must stay." Beneath the note was a key. A chilling voice echoed through the empty grounds: "Only one can use the key. The others belong to us." Tears streamed down their faces as they argued over who would stay. In the end, Jack made the decision for them. "Go," he said, shoving the key into Mia's hand and pushing her toward Ben. Mia and Ben hesitated but knew there was no other choice. As they unlocked the gate and stepped out, the carnival vanished behind them, leaving nothing but an empty field. Jack was gone. To this day, Mia and Ben live with the guilt of leaving Jack behind. Every year, on the carnival's anniversary, they return to the field, hoping to find him. Sometimes, they hear faint laughter or see flickering lights in the distance, but the carnival never appears again. Some say it moves from town to town, luring the curious and the brave. And those who enter rarely come back the same, if they come back at all.